Hello, Gundam fans, this is Prime92, and today I'll be looking at the 1 of 100 Master Grade Gundam H2 Double Bullet from the second generation of Gundam Age. So this is the mobile armor mode, the Stryder mode, which is the weakest of all the Stryder modes, because, well, it doesn't have a nose cone. It doesn't even resemble a fighter anymore. It's a thing that flies. Which is unfortunate. I always thought the design should have included at least a shield they could have stuck here to give it at least something that would at least go over the top of the head a little bit, give it the illusion, but they didn't even try. And in this mode, for master grades, every single one, the normal, the dark hand, and the double bullet, this is a terrible, terrible alt mode. It doesn't stay together at all. These pegs, these legs have little pegs that are supposed to go into the hands. You just have to remove the fingers and put these little faux fingers around them. So it looks like the hands are still there, but they're not, like the fingers. And then you peg see, look, they already unpegged right there. You peg the hips into the side skirts with little teeny pegs that are smaller than a nub that connects the pieces to the actual, like the plates. And it doesn't work. And the actual pegs that are jointed in the hips are way too loose and they come off. It does have landing gear. The knee caps are the landing gear, and there's a little one you put on the waist here. So it will stay well enough, but if you try to move it, it just goes crazy. And yeah, I'd have to, there we go. So I have to say I hate this mode. I really do. Having made it 3 times, I definitely hate it. So let's just, and there we go. Let's just get this into its robot mode. Oh, and I want to show you the opening cockpit here. Right there. It's pretty nice. And you also have you have 2 figures of Asuma. You have the one that came with the normal, but you also have another one with his helmet and his uniform. That's cool. So, to transform this guy, bring the, oh yeah, get rid of the landing gear. Just gotta keep the little red piece. You want to have this part flipped forward. I guess I should put the legs back on. See, they just peg right into here. And it's not like a double hinge, so you just bring it down into the waist. And same thing here. They really did not engineer this very well. But you just want to make sure this is all the way in. And then push the middle piece, and that'll keep the legs secure. And then you can put the kneecaps down, and then come back here, and you want to push this little panel up some, and bend the knee back so you can get this piece inside the leg. And then you can bring it forward. I never liked these knees either, the way they transform. They're weird. This whole thing is just cumbersome. They just didn't think enough about how to transform this guy. So, same thing here. And that's the legs all done. Now the torso. First you gotta make sure that these little joints for the arms, the shoulders, are unpegged from the torso, because that will allow you to push the actual torso down. And let's get the side skirts out of the way. That would be make it a little easier. Whoops. Let's what the hell? Things are falling apart. You're getting deja vu. Anyways, you can put this forward and then push the torso down, and there goes the backpack. Alright, rotate the arms, and then you can peg the shoulders back into the torso to lock them in place, so you're not gonna have to worry about the torso sliding up accidentally. And you can rotate the cannon parts down, like that, and then attach some fingers. Now it does come with several different fingers. You got the fist, the open hands, the holding hands, but I like to use the trigger finger hands, since it'll make more sense for the hold weapons. And I don't like the open hands because they look really weird and skeletal. And that is the mobile suit mode for the H2 double bullet, and it looks awesome. I love the mobile suit mode. It makes the mobile armor mode kind of worth the effort of transforming it to get it into this. Although it's still the mobile armor mode still is terrible, but it looks pretty good. Once you get everything pegged together, it stays pretty well. The feet are still a little loose. They're all in the knee joints. It's from the design of the original, just the way it is. Now you do get quite a few decals and stickers. You get a lot of silver for well, not a lot, but for the eyes and the age symbol. And then you also get green ones if you want to use them. And you get peel-off decals. And you get rope transfer. There's quite a few. And you can still access the cockpit here. It's a little harder to do. You flip up the white piece. You kind of have to get your finger there and flip up the blue piece too, and then flip down this red part. And you're supposed to be able to access that cockpit again. Like, God, anybody with bigger fingers... I still can't do it. But you're supposed to be able to. It's very awkward. Very awkward. But that is the H2 double bullet and mobile suit mode, and I love it. I do. I think it looks amazing. I just wish the Stryder mode didn't suck so much. Now the head can go up and down, and a little forwards and back. It'll rotate some. Gotta be careful of that chin. It's pretty much in the way. The arms can go some forward and backwards, and up and down. Not too much because you have to make sure that they're still pegged into the torso. So rotate. These ball joints for the cannons can move some, so you can get them out of the way, and of course these are on ball joints as well. And you get the arms that far out, rotate, and they're in place again. Rotate below the shoulder, double jointed elbow. You've got that age wrist, so you got a ball joint at the wrist itself, at the arm, and then you got another one at the hand, and then you got the articulated thumb at both joints, and then of course the swapping fingers. What? No, these pieces come off all the time. God, I'm gonna have to glue those. I guess you can call it a joint. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't lock in place. It's okay. I guess you can actually put this little peg here, this little panel, to help it, but it still moves. Rotate at the waist, ball jointed skirt armor at the front, the ball jointed and hinged side skirts, and the hinged back skirt. The legs will go forwards, not much back. They can go out. They can rotate at the hip. That double jointed knee, although the kneecap doesn't move with it, so it looks kind of awkward, even if you bend it down. And then getting it back in place is a pain in the back skirt. And then you got the foot, forwards and back, rotate, side to side is pretty good, and the toes can go down. Not the best. The H2 Master Grade is not the best for articulation. And it's mostly because of all these transformation joints that hindered it in the first place. Like, the transformation wasn't that good, and because of that, the articulation doesn't seem to be that good either. So it is upsetting. I think it'd be best for an action base if you're going to try to pose it. So yeah, it'd definitely be better, that's for sure. Now, of course, the H2 has the beam saber handles, which are still upside down, if you ask me. But they have a little gap, so you can have it in the hand. And you do get the 00 style beams. 2 daggers, 2 beam sabers. And that is pretty much the normal stuff. Now, the other stuff is the double bullet. Of course, you have the cannons on the sides here, which can rotate forward. So you can do that if you want. And you can utilize the beam rifles in the, in the actual cannons themselves, of course. Here's the beam rifle. Has little handle you can flip out. Like that. And it does show in the instructions you can keep them on here. And you can maneuver it around so you can get him to hold it. It'll work. You just gotta mess with it. But I personally would rather have him hold it in the in his hand. And they're very, very secure. They have the same hole as the beam sabers do. And once you get them in there, it's a little hard to get because the hands are, you see, they're kind of a weird shape because of that spindliness. But once you get them in, they're not really gonna come out that easily. And yeah, I guess it's probably easier to do it this way. Stay. Yeah, it's probably easier to stick them in first because they have the little peg. And just put them in. Come on. You gotta work with me, hand. Come on. It's always something, isn't it? Always something. There. And then just get the thumb over there. And these are not coming out. They're really secure, and they look really good. They're simple, and I like them. So yeah, and then of course, you can, now these are a little weird. You gotta be careful. These parts, these red parts can open up, and I find the best thing to do is to take them from the base, and then they actually slide at an angle, like that. They don't go straight down, they actually go diagonally. It's weird. It is definitely weird. Alright, and with those, you get 2 clear effect parts. Now, the one thing I don't like is they're hollow. It reminds me, like, they look similar to the double riser beams for the GM-3, but they're hollow, and it is weird. And it just slides right in, and then you just push them to sandwich them in. And, you know, once it's on, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad at all. A little weird from the other side, but it's still, it's decent looking, I think. So, I think it's pretty good. Now, of course, you can do it with both. But there's one more thing you can do, because this is the normal armament for the double bullet. And they're all pretty good. So you can pull off the X formation with the wing beams and the beam sabers if you want, which I always liked. But there's something else. You see, the kit has these panels that you can pull off. Alright? Now you could also replace them with these little round ones if you wanted. I don't know why you want, but you can, they're there. But, I was wondering, could you, because they give you the white blaze from the Age 2 normal. And I've been wondering, can you actually put them onto this guy? Because they give you these holes, and you know what? They actually give you everything you need to make these wings. And so now all I have to do is stick them into the holes. And I think that's pretty neat. It never happened in the anime. And you don't have to do it, because you got those panels that nicely cover the spots. But I like the ability to do it. Because it does look pretty neat, I think, having the wings. And that's why I have the cannons facing up like that right now, because I think it looks better having the cannons stay up and having the wings down. I think that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. And this one cannon's a little bent. It kind of, the peg bends on when I was putting it together. But I think that looks pretty awesome. I really do. Well, obvious edit is obvious, but I needed to show off one thing I forgot. And that is the cannons, or I should say the missiles, on the back of the legs. You got these little panels here that open up, and they have missiles, just like in the anime. And they are actual missiles in here. They're individual pieces. You gotta get them really far in order to get these panels closed. But the thing is, trying to get them out, you gotta kind of use tweezers to pull them out if you have them that far in. So, it's fine, because unless you're gonna do a diorama, and you want to have the missiles firing, you can pull them out. But they weren't really necessary, because you can't even really see them, except maybe in Stryder mode. But I like that they're there. They were in the anime, and they included them, and they're nice to have. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So accessories are really good. Yeah, I would like the beams for the wings to be a little, like, less hollow, but that's really my only problem. I think it's really nice, the ability to have those extra wings, which they even mold them in the proper color, which is really awesome. So yeah, accessories are great. So let's get this guy compared to the other Age 2 kits that they've released. Here is the normal, which obviously you can see they did change the color for the wings, which is really nice. And here's my rather dusty, because he's black, Age 2 Darkhound. Actually, I guess I should have him in the back, since we're focusing on the double bullet. Stay. Okay. It's hard to see, they're pretty big. But yeah, all three of them together. And I think the double bullet is my favorite. Darkhound is a close second. But I just love, I love those beam weapons of the, you're falling apart. I love the beam weapons of the, double bullet. I just think and it just utilizes them so well. Having the beams coming out of the wings, you can hold the beam rifles, you can have them holding them attached to the wings. You get these awesome wing pieces, which you didn't have to have, but they did it anyways, and it's pretty nice. Stryder mode sucks. Stryder mode is terrible. Always has been, always will be, in Master Grade form. The articulation is hindered because of that, unfortunately, it seems. But the look and the weapons of the mobile suit mode, I think, actually make up for it. And for me, it's my favorite version of the H2. So that's about it, and I'll see you at the next review.